Welcome to the PK Soul Show. Welcome to the PK Soul Show.
Welcome back to the PK Social.
Welcome, guys, to another week. I am Tammy.
And I am Amber, and we are still discussing good old Greenleaf. So, we have some interesting topics to get into today. Here we go.
Well, we're going to continue right into the last episode of Greenleaf that actually covered Bishop's Silver Jubilee.
Mm-hmm.
Quite an interesting celebration that he had for himself.
Yeah, basically, the show opens up with him and Grace. They're walking through the sanctuary. You see he's getting ready. He has the big picture of himself on the stage that says Silver Jubilee. I guess they brought in flowers, or basically he's having an event and Lady May is having an event. His is first. His was the Silver Jubilee. Hers is a day with Lady May.
It feels like a pastoral anniversary. I just feel like that's basically what it is. It's celebrating 25 years of him being the bishop.
Right.
So it's just, to me, it's just like a pastor's anniversary.
They just gave it a different name.
Yeah.
So, we see him and Grace having that conversation. She pretty much tells, or I feel like she advises him, like, okay, you were able to pull this off, but events like this is what Mom normally handled. So what is your plan moving forward? Like, go on and try to think about who you want to take her place in that aspect. Like, who's going to handle the little ins and outs of the church events. But in his mind, he thinks he can do it himself. He doesn't need to replace Lady May.
I think you're going to be excited. I am going to give Grace some brownie points.
Oh, good for you.
For this episode. Because I feel like Grace really was, to me, I saw Grace in another light. I kind of see what Deaconess Connie, when they see in Grace, and they see her as the future leader of the church, because she does consider things. This was a minor thing for her to say to her dad, but I think it's sunk in. My parents are getting a divorce. Mom clearly had a role in the church. Dad has a role in the church. Dad, you need to take care of that, making sure what she did is still covered. And I feel like even with his own Jubilee, he made a point to have it all pretty. They had the cute flowers and stuff.
The flowers are really pretty.
Very pretty. And he made it a point to plan everything himself so that he can show, I can stand on my own. I don't need
So
her.
he was basically trying to prove a point to Lady May.
Correct.
Well, to everyone.
Yeah,
like,
I can do this. I got this. I've had it forever. That's what he's really trying to say.
Right. And I think she understands that, but at the same time, she wants him to know it can get difficult. Like, this isn't our only church event, but just keep in mind you're going to need help with this. So
correct.
Anyway, after that, he goes back to his office and he's pretty much given the divorce papers to finally sign. He hasn't signed the papers. Lady May hasn't signed the papers. I guess I don't want to say they've been dragging their feet, but yeah, we are 10 episodes in and they have yet to sign these divorce papers. So I guess in this episode we're pretty much saying, okay, finally what we've been talking about the whole season is probably going to come to play now at this point. The next scene, we see that the bishop is at Percy's house, which Percy, I like the character. I'm glad they brought a character on like Percy. He's pretty much, I guess, the bishop's closest friend.
Outside of Lionel, but we'll get into Lionel later. Yeah, I feel like he's a different type of friend. Like, I've heard people say growing up, you need friends outside of church. You need, like, people who can keep you real, people who can keep you grounded outside of your world of church, your church life, your church world. And I feel like that's what Percy does for the bishop. He's his not his center conscious, but he's his I don't even want to call him an adversary. He helps bring another perspective.
Like
and I feel like it's a male perspective.
Yes, his lifestyle and his perspective on life is different from the bishop, who is a bishop.
Right.
So,
and the bishop, he knows that the bishop has to be in a certain light. So he tries to, the way he talks to the bishop is from an older gentleman's standpoint, who's gone through a divorce. He's gone through
3 wives.
He has gone through 3 wives, but just even he's coming in and out. He's in and out of relationships, so he's kind of over that. So now he's dating. He's an older man dating. So he's he'll remind the bishop of how life is to date as an older man, especially since the bishop is coming right out of a marriage with a young lady who is still pursuing him. So unfortunately, Percy gives him advice and gives him perspective that he wouldn't have gotten from anyone else.
I can see that, yes. So I do like how they brought the friend Percy into the script. Like as you were saying, he's about to go through a divorce. He has his single friend, and he's allowing the bishop to stay there for the time being because the bishop.
Well, his house is big enough.
Yeah, his house is big
Percy
enough.
got some money now. He got some change.
Percy's doing all right.
What I'm seeing, and maybe it's just me, I could be completely wrong, and I'll come back and tell all of the socialites if I'm wrong, but I really do see something brewing between him and Charity outside of I'm back on it because I feel like there's a reason they're keeping Percy around. Bishop has enough money to get an apartment, to get a hotel room.
Why is he staying with his friend? Like, he can go stay.
And I can understand, you confiding in your friend and you're going through a tough time and you need a friend in your life. But you got enough money to get your own spot. You got your own money to get something else, but you're keeping Percy. And I feel like that's a part of the plot, not just for Bishop's sake, but I think eventually it'll lead into other things.
Well, I'm just going to hope they don't do that because I am not here for a
Percy likes some young honey. So if he comes for Charity, and as vulnerable as she is at the moment, especially
you would root for that?
I wouldn't root for it, but I don't know if I would be against it. Simply because Charity she's had such a rough time.
Okay, here is why I say no to Percy. To me, Percy comes off as an old player. Like, that's not what Charity needs. That's not what Charity needs.
He's a wonderful sponsor. Why not? Why not?
Okay, no, this
great sugar daddy. Why not?
Turn for the left.
Yeah,
I don't think she needs a sugar daddy. I don't think she needs a sponsor. I think that
I feel like, and even in the comfort, it's comfortable to have someone who she can get her mind off of it if she worked at the funeral home. She doesn't have to think about her problems because
I do think she should work at the funeral home.
And that's the thing. He doesn't see it as a career for her. He wants to give her the funeral. He wants to give her MJ Edwards. He wants to give her Jefferson Mortuary. He wants to give her own legacy. That's something to consider.
I thought he was just thinking, I don't know if he has kids or not, but I guess I thought he was coming to her like, okay, I'm thinking on down the line. I'm getting older.
Right.
I need someone, to pass this to. You're responsible. I know your family.
Right.
You're good at this, because she volunteered up there helping with other funerals. So would you be considered would you be?
And honestly, that's all she needs to consider right now. But I can't see Percy, the man that he is, not having another motive eventually. I'm not saying that. I'm just thinking that could be a part of a plot later on. I'm curious to see what happens
because Charity is not. I don't think she's mentally strong enough to be involved with the old player.
No. She shouldn't do anything.
A player here, old player. Like that.
Yeah. He's
experienced. You got to know what you're doing.
He does. He does know what he's doing, and I think he knows that. That's why he's.
Well, she needs to stay away because she will be another one of his victims. And as we see throughout this episode, he got some victims. Anyway.
And he also has a tender spot. Like, when he talks to, yes, he does. When he was talking to the bishop, he really was concerned about. He understood what it was with the women. He understands what it is with them.
Okay, I know what you're talking
about.
What I mean? That was an interesting conversation he had with the bishop.
And he sounds lonely. He sounds like a steady relationship would be good for him, but he understands what young women want from him. He knows where he is in life. They want the comforts. They want the money. Like he understands that. That was
an eye opener for the bishop because right after that conversation. Okay, so I guess we need to talk about that conversation. The bishop. We're gonna move along in the episode. There was another scene when the bishop arrives home, which for him now home is with Percy. So he gets to Percy's house and he walks in and he's looking around like, where is Percy? Because what he sees is a young lady in a very fitted dress in the kitchen with her shoes off. So basically, Percy has paid this young lady to be with him. They finished doing whatever they had going on. And it looks as though she was on her way out. But the bishop walked in. And she pretty much propositioned him.
Services.
Like, okay. He was like,
do I need to stay?
Yeah. He was like, where's Percy? And she was like, oh, we're done. He's asleep. Do you want me to stick around? And the bishop was like, well, no, thank you. I'm okay, but thanks. So the next scene we see, they were in the kitchen having this conversation, he and the young lady. Percy is now in the kitchen with him, and they finally talk about the elephant in the room, which was the lady who was there working. And that's what you're talking about. He pretty much tells him, at the age we are at, dating is different. We are not the young tenderonis or whatever they think they were that we used to be. Most of the women out there, if you do date them, I guess they both got money. They're going to be after the money. So I feel like he was letting the bishop know, you're looking at a divorce, but you need to know what you're getting into. Because if you're trying to date, they're not looking. He made it sound like these women are not looking for love. They are more attracted to what you can give them,
right?
Rather than.
I do hope it's not an ulterior motive with Percy, because for him to mention Rochelle,
he mentions Rochelle a lot.
Well, he mentioned Rochelle for the bitcoins, like the cryptocurrency or whatever. He mentioned Rochelle early on, so I'm like, why do you keep throwing hints of Rochelle in his ear? I hope they don't know each other from another environment or another.
I hope they don't. I don't think that's what
I hope
it is.
he's not trying to plant seed for
I think
Rochelle.
Initially when he brought it up, it was kind of like, okay, I feel like there's something going on, but you don't really want to talk about it, but I'm going to bring it up and I'm going to see what you say.
Oh, Percy.
Yeah, I feel like that's where Percy was coming from. Like, oh, well, you got this young lady that got money around the church. She clearly is fond of you. Like, I feel like it's pretty much known now that she will do what she needs to do to spend any kind of time with the bishop, whether it's coming to his office at the church or whatever. Even when they show the church scenes, why is she sitting on the second row right behind, like stuff like that? It's
strange. It is.
I mean, that's something small, but the way that they show it is like, okay, she's smack in the middle on the second row, smiling the whole time at him. Like, it's just a bit much. But yes, I do feel like that conversation that Percy was having with the bishop, he was kind of trying to tell him, if you're not going to be married, know how you're going to treat the dating life. Because in the very next scene after that, you see, I feel like the bishop thought about it. He has this conversation with Rochelle where he pretty much questions her, like, we're friends, you've been trying to help me, but why are you here? What are you here for? I'm an old man. I can tell that you are coming around like you have some type of attraction to me, but what is it? I'm old. You can have any young gentleman you want. You have money. You're attractive. And at that moment, I feel like, of course, she is still playing the game, and she tells him, I'm not using you. If anything, you're using me, whatever. So yes, she's very much still playing him, but he just doesn't see it. I feel like he almost had that breakthrough moment after Percy talked to him, when he questioned her, like, okay, I'm thinking he's on the right path. Yes, you're right. You're onto something. She is trying to use you. And she wooed him again, looked him in his eyes, and was like, you're using me. She flipped it on him. So now he's back in the trap. He's still falling for her shenanigans. So I feel like Percy's efforts were in vain at that moment, but he did try to put him on game, basically. Like, you need to know what you're getting into.
Well, and to me that didn't help, because now you wouldn't have had that conversation with Rochelle and you guys wouldn't be a step closer to being together. Like, to me, that made
I don't
him
think
put
that was
things
Percy.
in perspective. No, I just hate that the bishop didn't
see what was going on.
Yeah, because he doesn't see what's going on anyway with Rochelle.
That's true.
He's going to take it the wrong way, and he did take it the wrong way, assuming that, okay, well, she's here for me when she's not. So he doesn't. And even with the daughter, Grace warned him. Grace even told him that she's skeptical, and he got
and even when he
defensive.
questioned Grace, like, how are you gonna say you don't trust her, but you're allowing her to help you with this new fund that you have that helps women who are
right
victims of domestic. And she pretty much told him, honestly, I'm working with this lady on that fund because I want to keep an eye on her.
Right.
Keep your enemies closer. So at that moment, because I was kind of wondering the same thing, like, why
I knew that
Grace
from
with
this
girl?
Grace is a smart girl from the jump.
She's
it seems
smart.
like when she saw what was happening with her mom and dad because of Rochelle, she instantly knew she needed to find a way to kind of keep her around, to kind of check on her. And every time, even I think what helps Grace understand that, okay, she still ain't quite right.
Mm-hmm.
Every time she asks her about a connection that's awkward, Rochelle gets a little offended, like she did with Coralie's children. She intervened
like,
there.
how do you know the DHS worker?
Correct. Like, how are you getting? How are you?
It's like
you
she doesn't really want to talk.
connections.
She wants to talk about her connections, but she don't want to tell anybody how she's connected.
Correct.
So.
Well, you want people to know that you have connections,
right?
So
but
that
when
you
they
can feel
ask
useful.
you, like, oh, then it's like, okay, you try to make it like when Grace would ask, it was almost like you made it seem like she was prying, but really those were legit questions.
Correct.
Like, how do you have all these?
So
friends?
Grace is smart enough to know if you're getting offended, it's for a reason. So we got to keep you around and figure out what's going on.
That is true.
Grace is smart on that note. You get another brownie point, Grace. Good job.
Yeah, Grace is on her toes. I do like Grace. This episode pretty much wrapped up on two notes. The man that Lady Mae cheated with has cancer.
Okay, his name is Lionel. And I want Lionel to lead us back to Charity, which is Lionel's son is dating Charity's ex-husband. And now
baby daddy.
Their baby daddy. And now they are discussing marriage and getting a house together.
The two men.
Yes, the two men. This really does. I felt so bad for Charity when she's sitting on the couch and she's watching her ex-husband, and she basically knows Lionel's son. Yeah,
she knew
from
him
growing up.
Yeah,
so you see a guy you grew up with dating your ex-husband, playing with your baby. That's a lot to take in.
Yeah, I feel
that's why I kind of sympathize with Charity on. She need a break. She needs a real life break, because you are what and she's a good person, because I don't know if I could do it. I just don't know if I could be in a position to watch you play with my baby. This isn't like a 4, 5, 6-year-old. My baby.
I feel like Charity and Kevin, I mean, I know they don't get along or whatever, but they should have had a conversation, maybe with a mediator present, who would vouch for her and say, you know what? It doesn't have anything to do with how she feels about who you're dating, or who you're going to be with. Just out of respect for their situation and them getting acclimated to being divorced parents, they have to co-parent. Neither one of them should be bringing whoever they're dating around the child yet.
That's so true.
Regardless of it being,
so
it's two men, because that scene was awkward. She was literally watching him and his boyfriend play with their baby. Okay, even beyond that, even if it was a woman, if Kevin was dating another woman, it's not time for either of them to bring another significant other around the child. Like, they should just wait. They barely are divorced long enough to, I don't know, figure out how they're going to do their co-parent situation.
Right.
So why involve all these extra factors and people? Yes. So that was my main. Even if we don't want to harp on who he's dating, the fact that he's bringing someone else around their child is too soon. Like, no, I'm not. No, it's too much.
Especially after, I just feel like Kevin is being really evil towards Charity. Like, even with,
I'm not gonna say evil. I'm gonna say inconsiderate. I don't think he's trying. I don't think him dating that guy is trying to be spiteful to Charity.
I'm thinking just over the whole season.
Oh, how he's acting over the child.
First off, it didn't seem like Kevin's character. So it seemed kind of odd for him to call the police, for him to get upset when she said she wants to go on tour. It just seemed really weird how he reacted to her. And he seems like a really cool guy. Like, I don't get it.
I will say he's being inconsiderate. Like,
you
went from not knowing if you were gay or not to you were gay to bringing your boyfriend around at every second. Like,
and then penalizing your wife for trying to move on with her life. Like, that's what kind of bothered me. Like, she's trying to move on from you with a career, and you're not being supportive.
Well, I'm not gonna say, I don't know. I didn't, honestly, even when he called the police, I don't think it was because she was trying to move on. I think he was genuinely upset that she took the baby out of town and didn't tell him.
I feel like you didn't give her a choice. You really did you told her first off she couldn't take the baby. you knew you weren't going to be a full-time dad.
Yeah, that's true.
It wasn't fair to her.
That's true.
I don't know.
Anyway, they need a mediator.
Awkward.
They need a mediator.
They do.
If he's gonna spend time with the son, fine. Don't have whoever you're dating around. And the same for her. But she was comfortable enough to take her son on the road around who she was dating. So he's probably,
and that's when he called the police. If you're not comfortable with her living her life, you should be very accepting to her. I mean, and she's been really sweet about it. Even when she was talking to the bishop about how she felt about the situation. And she really was happy for him. That's honestly, I feel like Charity just needs a break. And she needs a change.
But first, they need to talk about bringing extras around their baby. That's not
that's true.
So, okay, yeah. So, at that scene, the boyfriend because the bishop walked in and spoke. He saw them having their family moment or whatever that was. He spoke, and that is when Kevin's boyfriend, who grew up around them, told him that Lionel, which is his father, is pretty much dying from cancer.
Right.
Lionel hadn't really been around since last season. The last time he came around, that's when the bishop found out that Lady May had an affair with him. So the next time him and Bishop see each other, that's pretty much going to be the first time they see each other since that came out. So the bishop does go to see Lionel. They have the conversation. Lionel continually apologizes for his affair with Lady May. The bishop tells him he forgives him. That's the last time they're going to see each other since the man is dying, and he walks out. So, the next scene that wraps up this episode, the bishop signs the divorce papers. He takes them to Lady May. Of course, she's being a little dramatic. Why did you sign it? Lady May with the drama. I love Lady May, but yeah, she was being dramatic. He signed them because you brought them to him to sign. So then she signs the papers. They have this moment, and then I'm like, oh man, why did they have to get a divorce? I don't know how I feel about it. You know, I don't know. I feel like the way they did it was dramatic, and it makes you like, man, I don't want them to divorce, but you know they got a divorce.
Well,
too
Lady
much
May
has happened.
Yeah, Lady May. You know how I feel about Lady May. I feel like this episode was a turning point for the bishop for different reasons. I feel like he's being pulled in different directions. And, it reminds me of the episode when Lady May went to the bar, got drunk, went to the hotel, and then was okay. Like, I think she had her moment to kind of figure out what she wanted to do in life. And I think this is him moving on with his life. First, he approached Lionel and dealt with that. Even when we didn't mention it, but he even with how he dealt with Sophia this episode, he was really real with her. He was real with
that they gave him and Sophia a moment, because Sophia has been going through ever since she found out she can't have children, and she doesn't want to have anything to do with the church. But it still ended with her giving him the Bible back.
And that was
even
sad.
After their talk,
right? That was sad to see, and he invited her to the Silver Jubilee. Then that didn't help, so he still was trying to reach out to her and keep her from just completely rejecting God, and it didn't help. Unfortunately, it didn't help at the moment. But I think this episode was just kind of an eye opener for the bishop, and even with the drama of Lady May. Asking why did he have to sign the papers? Why did you have to file, sweetie? Are we gonna do this? Is this what we're doing, Lady May? She's just too much for me.
She's something else.
But yeah, this episode was I think it was a turning point for the bishop. So we'll see. To me, he's understanding what's going on in his life, because he kind of didn't really know what was going on, and now he's getting advice and he's getting different perspectives of what to do next. So I think in the later episodes we'll see what those next steps are. This almost wraps up, but we definitely need to give a shout out to a commentary from one of our socialites.
Oh yeah,
we had a socialite, guys, that gave us her feedback. She really is concerned about Sophia and Zora, mostly Sophia though.
Shout out to Eb. Thanks, Eb.
Yes, we have our very first socialite who has been commenting on the podcast, and we just wanted to address some of her. So you guys, anyone can chime in if you want to email us at thepksocial@gmail.com. Email us your thoughts or comments, or even if you comment on our Facebook page, we can address it on the actual episodes. But she just wanted us to kind of give our feedback on Sophia, because she says, well, for one, she says Zora needs a swift kick in the you know what, but she'll have to learn the hard way. And she does feel that Sophia needs counseling ASAP. And even with Grace trying to help comfort her and help her through this situation, Sophia is going through some challenges. It is probably hard for her to comprehend what happened, why it happened. And she was doing everything right. She was one of the few young people that was truly trying to live for Christ. She was helping in the church. She's a good person, and she doesn't know why this happened to her, and she feels like it's God's fault, or why did God allow this to happen to her? So she's questioning her faith. She pretty much gave up on her faith. And even when her boyfriend tried to reach out to her, she's just trying to figure out what's going on. And these episodes are becoming way more critical. Within the last couple of weeks, she's torn pages out of the Bible, and now she gives the Bible back to the bishop. So we're gonna pray for Sophia, y'all. Let's have a prayer meeting for Sophia. But she's just gonna have to learn, how to deal with issues and tragedies. Every Christian goes through it, and she's gonna have to deal with that. So thanks, Miss Ebony Hines, for your comments. We appreciate it. Right. And we're so excited about the podcast, but we have to come to an end, guys. Today was kind of a bonus, a little extra long episode, but you're gonna enjoy it. We know you will. Keep sharing about PK Social. Tune in next week. You can follow us on all of our social media outlets. Amber's going to give them again for us. Thank you, Amber.
Yeah, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the PK Social. All right. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.
Thank you. Have a great week.